Oh, man. Took years off my life, that one. First of all, credit to Mississippi State. They had a tough Saturday last week. Knew they would respond the way they did. Didn't anticipate knew the quarterback was good. Didn't anticipate him coming in there and throwing for 500 yards against our defense. But really proud of our guys. Great fight by them, but really proud of our players. We told them all week that this was going to be a SEC war. Two good football teams. Mississippi State is a veteran team, juniors and seniors all over the field for them, and some really, really, really good players that had a bad Saturday last week. And jumped up 14-0. Awesome job by our offense. We have a 99-yard drive, I think. Unbelievable by those guys to start the game. And then, halftime, the story of the game at halftime, we were stopping the run. We were moving the ball offensively, but number 5 had 200-plus yards receiving at halftime. And we had 3 keys to the game this week. It was attacking with passion, meaning we're not sitting back and taking a breath because we played well last week. We're attacking in every area. Thought we did that. The second key was we knew there were going to be some negative plays. They got good players. Bless you. They got good players, and the way they play defense, they create negative plays for your offense. So we knew there'd be some negative plays. We talked about just push through those negative plays, and then the big ones are going to happen. We got to hit on them. And then the other key was control number 7 and control number 5. And we did a good job of controlling the running back, held him to 27 yards rushing. But, my gosh, 7 catches for 256 yards for Griffin. Embarrassing, frankly. Just some bad pass defense by our guys. We got a lot to get better at, just getting balls thrown over our heads. And we came in at halftime and told the guys we're doing everything that we're supposed to be doing, except we're not controlling number 5. And last night in our team meeting, TJ Sanders got up and said, we're not letting 7 and 5 beat us. So we challenged them at halftime that right now 5 is beating us. And we can talk about our defensive backs all we want. Somebody's got to win up front. And Will Rogers, who's a fantastic player already, doesn't need 10 seconds to sit back there in the pocket to throw balls over our heads. We needed to generate a pass rush, and we did a much better job, I thought, of affecting the quarterback in the second half. Got the game to the fourth quarter, found a way to win it. And, SEC wins are hard. Proud of our players. This has been a tough week, obviously, with coming off the disappointment of last Saturday in Athens and Juice being out this week and all that as well. But our guys went right back to work on Sunday, had a great week of practice, probably a better week of practice than what we had even going into the Georgia game. And the Georgia week was really good too, also. So a lot to build on. That's a really good win for us tonight. Proud of our fight. We continue to get better with our young players. Got a lot of work to do and a lot to clean up, but, really good. I've talked a lot about what we didn't do well, but how about what we did do well? I'm pretty good for a group that, we haven't been great running the football. To run it 47 times for 144 yards. Great to see Mario get in there and do what he did tonight. Spencer, he was 18 of 20, 288 for 3 touchdowns. Playing great. Got to keep him continuing that way also. But good to get the run game going. Great to get the win. A lot to clean up in all 3 phases. Proud of our players and got to keep getting better. Questions?
Shane, I know it's always going to be a competition and rotation at running back, but did Mario show you enough tonight to say it's like that guy's got to be our number 1 going forward?
Yeah, we felt like going into it that we knew Mario was going to play no matter who went out there first. And DK did some decent things tonight. I know nobody's more upset about that fumble than he is, but, DK did some good things. And in the running game, certainly it takes all 11. So maybe some runs that DK had that weren't blocked well and things like that. He's got to continue to get better. Mario's got to continue to get better. But, we just gave Mario a game ball in there for the way that he ran the football. So we're proud of him and like all of our running backs as well. We feel like we got 4 really good ones. And Mario, DK, Juju, and DJ. And all those guys got to keep coming along. But certainly Mario showed what he can do tonight.
And sticking with that, Coach, you talked on Tuesday about how critical getting the run game going was. Just now having this, just how much did it help you feel more confident with the offense, giving the defense a break, just all around the team have a bit more confidence with it?
Yeah, no, it was really good. It was good to see our offensive line do that because that's a good defense. The 2 linebackers, 14 and 44, arguably the best linebacker tandem in this conference, and just make plays all over the field. and the way they play defense. Like, very few teams are able to run the ball against these guys consistently. So really proud of our guys for doing a good job of running the football. We have to continue to get better, but certainly when you're able to run the ball like we were able to tonight, it opens up things in the passing game, and it eats up clock, and we're thin on defense. We had some injuries tonight, and we got some young guys, as you guys know, out there playing, and we need to be able to, help them. And I think in the third quarter, we played like 5 plays offensively in the third quarter, if I'm not mistaken. We scored on the first play, and then we had, not much after that and some stuff. But to be able to help our defense out by running the ball is key.
Shane, you talk about the defense being able to get some pressure on them. It seemed like the defensive line was able to affect Will Rogers later in that game to get the big fumble there. How impressed were you that they were able to just kind of respond to that and able to force some miscues late in that game to swing that?
Yeah, really good. Still, we gave up way too many passing yards, without a doubt, and did a better job, I guess, of controlling the number 5 in the second half. He only had 50 yards, it looks like, after he had 200 in the first half. But our defensive line was a big part of that, without a doubt. And those guys, I saw Desmond as a true freshman. He got in there and played a lot tonight on the D-line. And TJ and Boogie and Tonka did a great job up front. And we've got to be able to – we can't call pressure every single time or call pressures to get pressure on the quarterback. Like, we got to be able to rush for and get pressure on the quarterback and help our defensive backs out too. And when we do that, we got to win. And we did a better job of winning those one-on-one battles in the second half, I felt like.
Shane, on a night that you honored Alshon, can you just talk about how Leggett just continues to have huge play after huge play for you?
Yeah, he works that way in practice, and it shows on Saturday nights. He's a fantastic player. What a way to start the second half, throwing that touchdown pass. I'm betting some of you guys probably weren't even in your seats yet. Y'all were still trying to get concessions and all that at halftime up there in the box. But great, proud of him, the way that he continues to work, and we've got to, like I said last week, we've got to continue to bring some of these other receivers along. Trey Knox did a nice job tonight, 4 catches, that was big, and we all those other receivers, while Juice is out, it's not just Leggett that we can count on. These other guys have to continue to make strides.
Were y'all taken off guard a little bit about how much they wanted to throw the football, or were they adjusting to what y'all were doing defensively to stop the run?
No, me personally, not really. Watching the tape last week against LSU, and I don't want to speak for Will Rogers, he's fantastic, but knew he had an off day and just didn't seem comfortable last week against LSU, and LSU's defense had a lot to do with that. But the guy's one of the best quarterbacks in this conference and has shown that over the years, and is a veteran guy. So not that we thought they would come in here and throw the ball for 48 times, but they got talented receivers, and they got a really big-time quarterback as well. And so the number of times they threw it didn't necessarily surprise me. With them, it's always about running the football. That's what they want to do. We did a good job, of stopping the run early. Thought we had a good plan for that. And then when you got a quarterback like Will, certainly throwing the football is a easy adjustment for them. And then we've got to do a better job of covering. We pride ourselves on winning the explosive play battle, and just way too many balls getting thrown over our heads tonight.
Spencer scrambled a fair amount today,
Yeah.
had some really big pickups on the ground. What has improved in his ability to run the football, and is there any plan to maybe lean more on design runs with him?
No. He every time he gets hit, I'll sit there and hold my breath. So no, absolutely not. And then as far as the scrambling, yeah, he does. I think he's doing a really good job, Emily, of just keeping his eyes downfield. Start to the offensive line where they're able to create a pocket where he feels comfortable stepping up, and keeping his eyes downfield and not feeling the rush and things like that. So credit the offensive line. And then Spencer doing a great job keeping his eyes downfield when it's not there. He's got just a knack for being able to run the ball, without a doubt. He showed that last week. I think he was our leading rusher in Athens last week, if I'm not mistaken, on just some scrambles. And that's a weapon for us if they're going to, getting the run game going certainly helps. the explosiveness that we have in the passing game and how well he's playing certainly helps. And then if teams want to play coverage all the time and we're able to protect the quarterback, that opens up lanes for him to run the ball as well.
You had the same 5 offensive line most of the game. You got Tro in more, like you were saying last week. Are you starting to feel a little bit more like you have maybe a 5 solidified at this point in the season?
Yeah, we'll look at the tape. Going into this game, we started Tree again at left tackle, Nick and Vershawn. Those are a solid 3. And then we're still trying to figure out exactly what the right side looks like. And we started Jakai tonight, but knew that we were going to get Tro in there on the second series or third series at the latest and let those guys both play. We started Wanamaker at right tackle. I mean, that was a toss-up between him and Sidney. Just felt like Wanamaker had a little bit of a better week of practice, but feel really, really good about Sidney out there. And so that's a competition going on. And then Jackson Hughes also, he's healthy, but Jackson's still coming off a knee injury that he had at Charlotte before he transferred here. So as he continues to get his strength up and get healthy, I would throw him in the mix at both those tackle spots as well as we continue to solidify this thing. But those guys did a good job tonight, and we'll look at the tape and kind of see where we are from here.
At those edge positions, you got Jatius in there for the first time. What did you see out of him and Strawn to make that big play? How did that affect the game?
Yeah, that was huge. Getting JT back, just another body in there. That's another position that we got a lot of bodies, and we're still trying to figure out who those 3-4 guys are that are going to separate themselves in that group at the defensive end position, edge position. So getting JT, he probably wasn't 100% tonight. He kind of aggravated a little bit during pregame warmups. Wasn't sure he was going to be able to go, and then he came in here. We kind of retaped him, and he felt good about playing, so he was able to get out there and go. Him getting back or getting in the mix will do nothing but help us. And then that was a huge play by Stretch. They've got Mississippi State. They've got a good offensive line, and to beat that tackle and hit the quarterback was a huge play at the time in the game.
I don't think anybody would have been surprised if you'd have thrown it 50 times tonight based on what Mississippi State had done defensively to this point. So were you tempted during the week to do that? Or when was it that you guys got together and thought, we've got to make the running game start here at some point?
No, not tempted. We knew that we were going to have a chance to make some plays in the passing game without a doubt. We knew number 7 was out for them because of the targeting from last week also. We knew the passing game, the plays would be there, but we also knew that we needed to get the run game going this week, which is easier said than done, like I said, against their defense because of the style they play. So we were, very narrow in what we did from a run game standpoint this week. It was, when you play them, it's just a blitz-a-thon every play. They're bringing linebackers, safeties, deep corners, you name it, moving the guys up front. So our whole thinking offensively was, let's just narrow down what we're doing in the run game, and then just rep those plays against every pressure known to man, because that's what we're going to get from these guys, and let's just generate some positive runs and stay ahead of the chains and not get ourselves in second and longs. Just try and get it where it's 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5, knowing that we would be able to throw the ball when we needed to. But also, they're going to bring pressure. That's their MO, and we didn't want Spencer sitting back there all day either, throwing it 50 times, because he's going to get hit too many times if he's doing that.
Shane, as far as trying to establish momentum going into the rest of the schedule, what does a win like this do for the team's psyche moving forward?
It's huge. I mean, that's a good team that we just beat. There's a lot to correct and build up on. It wasn't clean by any stretch of the imagination, but we made some really good plays on all 3 phases. And this is a tough stretch. I mean, look, I don't know of anybody in the schedule or anybody in the country that's played a tougher schedule than we have this season. I'm assuming Georgia beat UAB. I don't know who won the North Carolina Pitt game. Did UNC win? Okay, so North Carolina's undefeated, Pitt's undefeated, Furman's only loss is to us. Like, we've played some really good teams, and I see us continue to get better. I know we've got a big challenge on the road next week. I'm sure Coach Heupel they played earlier today. I'm sure he's sitting at home watching this game on television and looking forward to next week based on the way that we played the deep pass defense tonight. So we've got to get a lot better, but certainly to get a win at home. And while I say that, thanks to the crowd too, big part of our plan defensively was to not let them get comfortable, because this was their first road game and we needed to utilize the crowd. So we tried to do that with some different things up front defensively to let the crowd get into it and affect the quarterback. And our crowd was awesome. The cockpit was awesome. And to get a win at home going into another week where we're going on the road in a hostile environment, Saturday night in Knoxville, we needed this one. And obviously, I know we've got an open date coming up after that, and then kind of a stretch run from that standpoint. But this league, you can't get caught looking too far ahead. I mean, you better be just worried about the task at hand and the week in front of you, and that's hard enough in itself. But certainly needed a win, and happy for our players because they worked really hard and gave themselves the opportunity to win tonight.
Any more on injuries? I know Spalding didn't play in the second half, and Amarian, he warmed up, but he wasn't able to go tonight.
Yeah, I thought Amarian would be able to go a little bit. He did a little bit all week, and Thursday was limited. We were hoping the night game would kind of give that hamstring time to heal, but he didn't feel great. Hopefully he'll be fine next week. O'Donnell Fortune, he hurt his knee late in the week in practice. OD did after I talked to you guys on, when was the last time? Wednesday teleconference, and I didn't include it on the Carolina Calls Prisma Health Injury Report on Thursday night, so I apologize. But got that in for the sponsors. Hope you like that. But he banged his knee up on Thursday in practice. Just kind of fell on it. It's nothing serious. So we were worried about him Thursday. And then Friday he felt great. He did everything, and he was no concern. But then I think he got hit on the knee during the game tonight. So Judge Collier, a true freshman at corner, came in and did a nice job for us. And I think that was Spalding. He's fine.
We take two more, Colin and Matt.
Shane, you opted to go for two there. Have the Kai throw that pass at the end of the first half. Can I take me through that decision if you would? And did you get an explanation there on the penalty on the missed field goal from Mississippi State?
Yeah, so we've been pretty successful on those, extra point muddle huddles where we go for two essentially until this year. We're now 0 for 2. We tried one against Furman and we got stopped, and then we tried one tonight and we weren't able to connect. But you go back to last year, I think we hit on every single one of them. We tried one against Florida, but and didn't get it stopped. We've run a bunch of those to Tonka and Trey Kenyon last year. To me, those are things that something that we practice, and if we feel like we have a chance to hit it, we'll call it. And it wasn't like, okay, we need to go for two here. It was something that we feel like is sound and was going to work. And trying to get the ball to T.J. Sanders, and T.J. Sanders came wide open. I mean, we had it. We just weren't able to connect for whatever reason. But that was the thought. It wasn't so much the strategy as much as it was we feel like we have a good play that's going to be open, and it was. And then the explanation, there's a big point of emphasis on taking care of the snappers when they punt the ball. If you look at our game last week against Georgia, in the first punt of the second half, Hunter Rogers got absolutely clobbered at the line of scrimmage last week in the game by Georgia's defender. And so it's just a big point of emphasis, taking care of the snappers. And I think it was Boogie. We moved, meaning I think Boogie was in the left A gap as the defense looks at it, and he slides over to the opposite side A gap, just trying to generate a block and scheme a block up. But when you do that, there's no part of your body that can be touching or shading the other team's snapper. And they just told me that the edge of his shoulder pad was on the snapper from State's, the edge of his shoulder pad, which whatever they called it, and we can't shade him. I guess we did.
And last question to Matt.
It was such a special ceremony for Alshon at halftime. Just what do you hope this current crop of Gamecocks can learn from Alshon, who was in their shoes once upon a time?
Yeah. One, he's from South Carolina, so for all recruits in the state of South Carolina, learn from Alshon and stay home and come play for the University of South Carolina. That's the first thing I would say. And then just a guy that just came in here. in the recruiting process, when we were recruiting him, this was before Twitter and Instagram and all that, but he wasn't a guy that was caught up in the hoopla of being a big-time recruit. And he's the same person and came in here and worked really, really hard and had a fantastic career. So I would hope that recruits would learn that you can come to South Carolina and accomplish all your dreams on and off the field. He came here, he had an unbelievable career, went to the NFL, had an unbelievable career, won a Super Bowl. And then to have him back this weekend was pretty special. He was around yesterday in our office in the facility all day. He talked to the offense during the offensive walkthrough yesterday afternoon, and really, really, really special night. So I'm glad we were able to play well for him and glad to have a part in it. I mean, he's someone that I love and care for deeply. That video of me talking at halftime, talking to him, that took about 4 takes because I was getting pretty emotional talking on that video as well. So normally I can do those things in 1 take, but it was hard just because of how I feel about him, and I'm so happy for him. There's nobody more deserving.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all.